This supposed comet is catching the attention of some of the nation's most renounced scientists, as one Harvard professor is raising the theory this may actually be a piece of alien technology. Out in the frozen silence of deep space, billions of kilometers from Earth, the James Webb Space Telescope picked up something it was never built to see. Not the soft glow of a star, not the faint shimmer of a galaxy being born. This was different, sharper, stranger, harder to explain. The data showed a moving object cutting across the dark on a path no known physics could neatly describe. In that instant, Webb didn't just capture light, it opened a door to a mystery that left scientists both fascinated and unsettled. Astronomers have long tracked strange visitors drifting through our solar system, like Oumuamua in 2017 and ThreeI Borisov 2 years later. But the newcomer, labeled ThreeI Atlas, refuses to fit in any box. Part comet, part machine, it carries a speed, a structure, and a faint radio-like pulse that defy natural explanation. If it moves closer, the consequences could be impossible to predict. Within hours, the discovery lit up headlines worldwide. Some experts dismissed it as an odd but natural anomaly. Others whispered something far more daring, that it could be evidence of intelligence beyond our own. So what is ThreeI Atlas? A wild comet or a message sent across the stars? And the real question, are we ready for the answer? When NASA launched the James Webb Space Telescope in December 2021, it wasn't just another tool for looking at the stars. It was a time machine, capable of capturing light that has traveled for more than 13 billion years. Every image Webb sends back is not just a snapshot of space, it's a snapshot of the past, showing galaxies as they were when the universe was young. No other instrument has ever pulled back the curtain on cosmic history with such clarity. Unlike its predecessor, the Hubble, which relied heavily on visible and ultraviolet light, Webb was built to see in infrared. That's the spectrum of light that slips through dust clouds, the kind that hide newborn stars and planets. In practice, it means Webb can look into places where light has been trapped for billions of years and reveal what was once invisible. It's not exaggeration to say that Webb doesn't just look deeper, it sees what no human eyes have ever seen before. The engineering behind it is staggering. Its golden honeycomb mirrors stretch more than 6 meters wide, reflecting the faintest whispers of ancient light. Its sunshield, the size of a tennis court, keeps the telescope cold enough to detect heat from objects unimaginably far away. And all of it sits 1 million miles from Earth at a gravitational balance point, steady enough to stare into infinity. Every detail of its design was meant for one purpose: to show us how the universe began and how it continues to evolve. But sometimes, when you build a machine to peer back in time, you find more than just history. You find things that don't belong, signals that don't match the rules, objects that challenge everything we thought we understood. And that is exactly what happened when Webb caught sight of the ThreeI Atlas. So what did James Webb really see in the depths of that darkness? Why does this one discovery stand apart from all others? And could it mean that our search for answers has just crossed into something far stranger than we expected? For most of human history, the night sky seemed predictable. Stars rose and fell, planets wandered, and comets blazed with fiery tails before disappearing again. But one day, everything changed. On October 19, 2017, a telescope in Hawaii called Pan-STARRS spotted something racing across the solar system. It wasn't a comet, not exactly, and it wasn't an asteroid either. Scientists named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning messenger from afar arriving first. Oumuamua moved in ways that defied expectation. It accelerated without the typical jet of gas you'd see from a comet, and its orbit was sharper, stranger than anything known. Some said it was a natural object shaped by cosmic forces we don't fully understand. Others whispered that it might be alien technology, a fragment of some probe or ship drifting through the void. But before anyone could gather real evidence, Oumuamua slipped away, vanishing into deep space and leaving nothing but questions in its wake. 2 years later, in 2019, the sky delivered another visitor, Comet Borisov. This one looked more familiar, with a bright tail of dust and gas trailing behind it, but the trajectory told a different story. It hadn't come from our solar system at all. It was born around another star, a true interstellar traveler. Borisov proved something critical. Visitors from beyond aren't just rare miracles, they might be far more common than we ever imagined. Yet, with every new discovery came division. Some researchers argued these were just cosmic coincidences, random pieces of rock pulled into our view. Others believed they were signs, fragments of a larger truth that we've only begun to grasp. The debate itself revealed how little we truly know about the universe around us. Then came 2025. As scientists still argued over the nature of Oumuamua and Borisov, the James Webb Telescope detected something new and something far stranger. It was given the name ThreeI Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever recorded. But this time, the story felt different. This was not a comet like Borisov, nor a fleeting enigma like Oumuamua. ThreeI Atlas carried features that didn't fit into any category, natural or otherwise. So what exactly was moving out there in the dark? Was it just another visitor passing through our neighborhood of space? Or was it the first real encounter with something humanity has never faced before? It was as if the universe itself had staged this moment, placing ThreeI Atlas in Webb's view not by chance, but by design. Webb can track the object closely to capture data no ground-based telescope could match. What it revealed sent a ripple of unease across the scientific community. The speed of ThreeI Atlas didn't match the patterns of comets or asteroids. Instead, it seemed to move with an almost deliberate pace, refusing to fit into the models that had explained countless objects before. In 2017, Oumuamua slipped past Earth, a cigar-shaped body nearly 800 meters long. Its speed was extreme, its angle tilted strangely, and within weeks it vanished from observation. 2 years later came ThreeI Borisov, the opposite, every inch a comet, with a clear tail and a predictable orbit. Both fit categories, even if imperfectly. However, ThreeI Atlas fit none. It resembled a comet in shape, but there was no obvious outgassing to explain the nudges in its path. It mirrored an asteroid in silence, yet drifted sideways as though correcting itself. To many, it looked less like an accident of physics and more like the movements of something under guidance. The IAU's Minor Planet Center began logging its trajectory, marking each adjustment with unease. Patterns formed, small but deliberate deviations consistent enough to demand explanation. Was it natural or intentional? The conservative camp offered the safest theory. Maybe jets of sublimated gas burst irregularly from beneath its crust, unseen by Webb but strong enough to act as thrusters. But even those scientists admitted such bursts should leave some signature, a trail or tail that simply wasn't there. That silence forced others to whisper bolder possibilities. Perhaps the mechanism wasn't gas at all. Perhaps ThreeI Atlas contained a structure, some design that allowed it to maintain cohesion while maneuvering across the solar system. It was still only speculation, but the more the data piled up, the harder it became to explain away. And so the unsettling questions sharpened. How could a body of rock and ice steer itself? Why did its path change in ways that looked almost deliberate? And could humanity accept the idea that this visitor might not be a random drifter, but a messenger crafted by hands or minds not of this world? When the James Webb Space Telescope began breaking down, the light reflected from ThreeI Atlas, scientists expected something strange. But not this strange. The spectral fingerprints revealed metallic compounds that had no business being there. These weren't the simple elements common in comets like water ice, carbon dioxide, or ammonia. Instead, the readings suggested alloys, combinations of metals that do not form naturally in space. It was the first time astronomy had ever been confronted with data that looked, quite simply, engineered. At first, some thought it was a calibration error. Perhaps Webb's sensitive instruments were misreading the faint light from a far-off object. But repeated scans, double-checked by independent observatories, kept producing the same baffling result. The lines in the spectrum resembled those of manufactured materials, not cosmic leftovers. The possibility was unnerving. Was ThreeI Atlas partly made of artificial metal? Then came another revelation that sent a chill through the research team. Webb's instruments detected a repeating pattern in the light. Every few hours, the brightness dipped and surged again with uncanny regularity. Natural objects can flicker. Rotation, surface reflection, or dust clouds can create fluctuations. But this was different. The rhythm was too precise, too stable, like a flickering light bulb or a coded transmission. It was less like a comet's shimmer and more like a signal deliberately broadcast into the void. The debate ignited almost instantly. Skeptics argued it could still be an exotic but natural effect, perhaps caused by some rotation pattern we hadn't seen before. But for others, the evidence was undeniable. If something behaves like a beacon, shouldn't we at least consider that it might be one? For the first time, serious scientists were forced to write the word intelligence in their papers, not as speculation, but as a possibility demanded by the data. And yet the mysteries only deepened. As ThreeI Atlas approached the Sun, researchers expected the usual fireworks of a comet. Heat normally boils away volatile materials, blasting gas and dust into space, leaving a glowing tail. But ThreeI Atlas defied the script. Its structure remained intact, with no sign of disintegration. It passed through regions of intense solar radiation like a stone through air, unaffected and unwavering. This raised chilling questions. What kind of material could resist such heat? What was this object actually made of, and why did it refuse to behave like anything we've known in our universe? For Webb's team, the findings were both exhilarating and terrifying. Each new data point opened a door to ideas once dismissed as science fiction. The object seemed both mechanical and celestial, both machine and rock. It was a paradox too sharp to ignore. Was ThreeI Atlas simply a bizarre natural wanderer shaped in a corner of the galaxy we don't understand? Or was it something far more profound, an interstellar probe, a silent messenger built by hands not human? The Webb telescope had given humanity a glimpse of the impossible, and now the question could no longer be avoided. If this was not nature, then what was it? For years, Avi Loeb has been one of the most polarizing voices in astronomy. He isn't just a Harvard astrophysicist. He has built his reputation on questioning what most call safe consensus. Back in 2017, when the interstellar object Oumuamua streaked through our solar system, Loeb did what few dared. He suggested it might not be a rock at all, but alien technology. The idea was outrageous. Many dismissed it as fantasy, accusing him of confusing science with science fiction, but Loeb refused to back down. Now, with the arrival of ThreeI Atlas, Loeb sees his chance. To him, the James Webb Space Telescope's data doesn't look random, it looks deliberate. The orbit shows subtle, undeniable changes, as if the object is adjusting its path rather than drifting under gravity. For Loeb, that's no cometary quirk, it's propulsion, navigation, and if true, ThreeI Atlas is not just a visitor from another star, it is technology. When he made this claim, the global media erupted. Headlines compared him to Galileo, who defied the church by saying Earth orbited the sun. Supporters argued history could be repeating itself. Galileo was silenced, but later proven right. Could Loeb be enduring the same resistance, only to be vindicated when future generations confirm we were never alone? It's a story that grips the imagination, stirring both hope and fear that we are being watched. Loeb pushed his theory further. He proposed ThreeI Atlas might be an interstellar probe powered by a light sail, a thin structure that rides on starlight, a technology humans are only beginning to test. If we've already imagined it, he argues, why wouldn't a far older civilization have perfected it long ago? This idea moves ThreeI Atlas from the realm of rock and ice into engineering, design, and purpose. But the backlash was swift. Critics said Loeb was exploiting mystery for attention. They reminded the world that extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, and here the evidence is circumstantial at best. Some pointed out that odd accelerations or strange spectra might have natural causes, exotic chemistry, or forces we don't yet understand. Jumping straight to alien spacecraft, they warned, is reckless. Loeb counters that dismissing the possibility is the greater danger. If we label every anomaly as just nature, we might miss the most important discovery in human history. Science, he insists, is about curiosity, not comfort. It's about following the data wherever it leads, even if it challenges our deepest assumptions. And here's the haunting question. If ThreeI Atlas really is technology, who made it? Why now, at the exact moment humanity has the tools to notice? Is it an ancient relic drifting for millions of years? Or a probe deliberately sent close enough for us to see? A cosmic calling card left at our doorstep? The James Webb Telescope delivered the data. Avi Loeb gave it meaning, however controversial, and in doing so, he has forced the world to ask what may be the most profound question of all. Is ThreeI Atlas simply a mirror of our imagination, or the first undeniable whisper of another intelligence in the dark? Every breakthrough in space brings wonder, but also risk. And with ThreeI Atlas, scientists are asking the most troubling question: what if this object is not a harmless wanderer? Imagine it is technology. That would mean its path is deliberate and its purpose hidden. Experts in the field of space security have already voiced concern. If ThreeI Atlas is a probe, then it could just as easily be a surveillance craft, or worse, a weapon disguised as a comet. The frightening truth is that no one knows what it might do as it enters deeper into the solar system. Could it suddenly activate? Could it be transmitting data back to someone or something beyond the stars? Defense agencies, normally focused on earthly threats, are quietly tracking this silent traveler. But that is only one possibility. Another scenario is even darker. What if ThreeI Atlas is not active technology, but debris, space junk, left from a civilization that destroyed itself? If so, it may carry fragments of unknown machinery, or even biological material that has endured the void. Imagine bringing back a sample, only to uncover spores, viruses, or radioactive dust hidden within its shell. The true nightmare would be contamination, Earth exposed not by alien fleets, but by our own curiosity. History shows how fragile ecosystems are when faced with new organisms. The same danger could play out on a planetary scale. And then comes a theory that chills even the most rational minds. Some suggest ThreeI Atlas is watching us, since its sudden appearance so soon after the James Webb Telescope began its survey feels too coincidental to ignore. What if its timing is deliberate? What if it waited for us to reach a certain level of technology before showing itself? That idea suggests intelligence, patience, and intent. It hints at a civilization that knows far more about us than we know about them. These are extreme possibilities. Yet even without alien tech or hidden motives, ThreeI Atlas remains a danger. Any fast-moving interstellar object carries the risk of impact. The energy released in a collision with Earth would exceed that of our largest nuclear weapons. Even a near miss could disrupt the fragile balance of satellites, stations, and the growing infrastructure in orbit. This is why astronomers track such visitors so closely, and why security analysts treat each one as a potential threat until proven otherwise. But perhaps the greatest danger lies not in the object, but in how we respond. If we dismiss ThreeI Atlas as unimportant, we could miss a once-in-history opportunity to learn from it. If we overreact and assume the worst, we could spark fear, mistrust, or even militarization of space on a scale humanity has never seen. Both extremes could prove catastrophic. And then comes the most unsettling possibility. What if ThreeI Atlas carries a message? Not a radio signal, but something hidden in its structure, waiting to be decoded. What if it is not simply a rock or relic, but a test, an invitation, or a warning? In that case, our next move decides everything. Will humanity respond with caution and wisdom, or stumble into a future shaped by forces we do not understand? The clock is ticking. ThreeI Atlas is still moving closer. The universe has handed us a riddle wrapped in danger. Whether the answer brings triumph or tragedy, one truth is clear. This is a moment we cannot afford to ignore. Around the world, teams of scientists are working tirelessly to decode every trace of data from ThreeI Atlas. What they have found so far is enough to divide the community. Some computer models suggest the object is producing signals that resemble binary code. 1 and 0, the very foundation of digital communication, seem to appear in the rhythm of its light. To many, this looks like an intentional structure, the kind of order rarely produced by random cosmic noise. But despite the intrigue, no one dares to declare it proof. If the interpretation is wrong, the embarrassment would be historic, and if it is right, then we may be witnessing the universe itself reaching out. The implications of such a discovery are staggering. If ThreeI Atlas truly carries a message, it would answer one of humanity's oldest questions. Are we alone? For centuries, people have stared into the night sky and wondered if intelligent life existed beyond Earth. To find even a fragment of evidence, not a speculation but encoded inside a passing traveler, would redefine our identity. In an instant, humanity would shift from isolation to belonging, from a lonely voice in the dark to a participant in a cosmic conversation. But history shows that truth is rarely simple. The same revelation that could unite humanity might also ignite conflict. Governments could argue over who has the right to decode the message, fearing rivals might gain knowledge first. Religious institutions could be torn between embracing or rejecting the discovery. Economies might swing wildly on rumors of alien technology. The delicate balance of global order could fracture under the weight of cosmic confirmation. Yet others see opportunity rather than danger. A group of visionary thinkers, from astrophysicists to philosophers, argue that ThreeI Atlas might be a deliberate gift. They propose that the object could contain fragments of advanced knowledge, mathematics beyond our current limits, medicines to cure diseases, or insights into physics that could open the door to interstellar travel. Just as possible, it could serve as a warning, a caution carved in light and stone to guide us away from destructive choices. The fact that the James Webb Telescope, a creation at the very edge of human engineering, was the first to detect it feels symbolic, almost as if the universe had been waiting until we were ready to notice. This perspective raises haunting possibilities. Could it be that other civilizations, long gone, once faced the same test? Ancient myths of gods descending from the skies, stories passed down through generations, might not be fantasy at all, but distorted memories of earlier encounters. If so, then ThreeI Atlas is not the beginning of a story, but a continuation, a chance offered again, daring us to respond differently this time. In the end, the true legacy of ThreeI Atlas may not lie in its composition or trajectory, but in the choices we make once we understand it. Will we rise together and embrace the unknown with courage? Or will fear, greed, and division blind us to what could be humanity's greatest turning point? Months have passed, yet the mystery of ThreeI Atlas remains unresolved. Some studies dismiss the signals as random noise, while others point to patterns too deliberate to ignore. The Webb telescope has carried us to the very edge of discovery, but the step across that edge is still uncertain. What is clear is that ThreeI Atlas has already shifted the way we see the cosmos. It is no longer possible to treat the universe as a silent backdrop. The skies are alive with questions we can no longer avoid. Ideas once dismissed as fantasy now demand serious attention. This is not only a challenge for scientists or engineers. It is a moment for all of humanity to decide how we approach the unknown, whether with fear or with curiosity. Perhaps the greatest test is not what ThreeI Atlas is, but how we respond to it. So we are left with one final thought. When the next signal arrives, will we recognize it as noise, or will we finally hear the universe calling our name?